This time on Woody's Garage, it's the blue ball special again.
Yeah, this morning I'm going to make a temporary battery cover that's better than that piece of wire in front. And this piece of masonite, it's almost square. I bent these nails here to kind of be like this. They're going to come through the masonite. We'll just cut them off about here. And then we'll just drill a hole up top for the screw. There you go, looks factory. That should hold. Needs a sticker or something on it. And the scrap left over, we just cut it down so that it fits, so it can be on the floor of the battery box. The battery can sit on that. Made a little cardboard cozy for the battery too. Isn't that cute? Actually, so it doesn't bang around like this and maybe hit the sides. Battery box cover. Pretty ugly. I just took it for a ride. It's running really good. Front and rear brakes working. Front shocks don't clunk anymore because there's oil in them now. Alright, some updates on the CL90. We got the timing so it's a little more realistic. This notch is close to the middle. It was way the heck down here before. I'm not quite sure what happened, but I think we're a lot closer now. The points are right, the timing's right. This isn't that far off. Haven't started it though since. I also found a gasket. Amazing. A points cover and the right screws. Let's put that on. That makes it look so much more together. Another thing I noticed, this foot peg. See how far out it sticks? I wonder if I got them on backwards. I noticed one side before, I don't know if I mentioned this, but this gusset thing, on one side it comes way up to here. Yeah, you see the gussets and stuff in there? I thought maybe that was for the brake pedal and stuff. Maybe it is, I'm not quite sure. You notice anything different? Yeah, the exhaust. That's a CT90 exhaust on a CL90. The differences are that the other pipe on the CL90 sits much lower to the engine. It's about down here. You kind of lose access to the battery. I made up these brackets. This one here and one down here. You notice this also kind of blocks a battery door, so it's definitely an issue. And the system doesn't seem to be charging either, so. But these are all temporary measures, you know. We'll refine as we go along. Still waiting on that petcock, the aftermarket petcock. It's funny, going through my junk, I found another aftermarket petcock. Great, huh? So let's start it up and see what it sounds like with this on. Probably not as cool sounding as the VW muffler, but. Gas on. Seems to like to choke about halfway. Much quieter. Time for a little ride, I think. It's running pretty good. I just did some carb adjustments. I think it's burning off oil from in the pipe. Hopefully that's off of the engine. But yeah, it's burning pretty good. Looks pretty cool. I want to ride it in the woods. You can see the difference here where it's cut out for the shock on the CT90. The CL90, the shock's much further ahead. Wiring is probably the next thing. Yeah, I got a headlight going, which is pretty good. I got a horn that goes. I got an engine that runs. What I don't have is a tail light. And I think those wires are just not connected to anything. So I'd like, I have no tail light. But I have a socket. And there's a swap meet coming up, and maybe I'll find something to go there. If not, an CL90 tail light, which I doubt I'll find. This is an oldie. Yeah, I want to take a look at the petcock. I went to drain out what was ever left in the tank, and looks like it's done it for me. It's all drained. So we got to take off this kind of mangled nut on the bottom of this bowl. And then there's a screw hidden underneath this that attaches to the tank. And I'm hoping that is in good condition. I don't have much room here to work. Probably should have done this before I put the pipe on, huh? Can you see a screw under there? Oh, actually, I think this is a screen. I'm using the camera as a mirror right now. There should be a screw someplace in there. Well, we certainly can't get to the screw underneath there, and I'm sure it's going to be a fucker. But two choices: take off the pipe or take off the tank. I have to do both. Oh, but the seat, we only had one nut on it. Is great. And the gas tank isn't really held down by anything. But things to address there. Tank is off. Looks pretty naked, huh? You can see that screw. Yeah, surprisingly I got it with this big ass screwdriver. No impacts, no nothing. I like that. And that's what you got. How bad was this thing? I probably cleaned it years ago, but it still, was leaking. Wouldn't hold. Well, with the seat and stuff off, I think I can improve upon this. So that's tightened down there. I made a spacer, piece of conduit, and a longer nut and bolt. And let's put this together. That's better. And we won't be hitting the shock that I've already scratched. I'll cut that off later. The seat clasp is supposed to go under something, but if I go under this, then these these don't line up for these. The seat actually ends up about here, so I'm not quite sure what's up with that. Alright, we got the horn wired on here. I can't really remember why I had it like that, probably because I just didn't have any screws for it. So I'll take it off and see if we can find some screws, or maybe we'll wire it back up. Excuse me. Well, you'll note the headlight is screwy looking. That's the way it's got to go. I don't think it's the right one for the bike. I've had it apart and tried to rectify that, but to no avail. I do have a much better headlight assembly that I should put on this. Not yet. I couldn't find anything that would fit that was metric, so we'll use these. These are American, but they'll fit through the holes. They have locking nuts. Actually, I think those screws are metric. That'll work when this thing rattling around. Well, last time I rode this, I rode it up the little hill in my yard,
and I hit a rut. I heard a clunk. Like, what the hell was that? Well, I got a flat tire. And you try to put air into it, and it just is kind of like it's a big rip. You know, it doesn't sound like it's a snake bite or a little pinhole or something like that. So I'm probably gonna have to get a new tube, and I don't have the tube yet, so I kind of hate to take it apart. But at the same time, I could take it apart and find out that I could patch it, then I don't have to buy a tube. Let's take it off. There's always more to take off than you think. Gotta take off the brake, gotta take off the brake stay, but I'll be happy to get in there to the hub and clean that hub off with some acetone, get it back to what it used to look like. On the other side, I can't remember if the sprocket stays by that nut here, this assembly, or not. I guess we'll find out. Oh boy, look at this tire. Yeah, I looked at the swap meet for tires. I couldn't find a single small 18, small width-wise, 18. I would have bought it. Brakes. Oh, there's a lot of life left on those. That's good. Yeah. You can see how the wheel is rubber mounted to the sprocket. As I said, the sprocket can stay on, which is great. Saves you a lot of time. Yeah, we brought the wheel inside because it's humid outside and it's easier to do it on this table. I sort of make it into a fake tire changing station. Okay, there's like 2 nuts on this valve stem, and I took the first one off, and as I'm taking the second one off, the whole thing is like pulling one way. And I think what happened is perhaps the tire got so low on air, slow leak or something like that, that the tire pulled the tube and ripped the tube probably right near the stem. That's what I'm guessing. Which means, yeah, we're gonna need a new tube. I just put a big spike down in the bench and we just clamp it together so it's kind of holding the tire. It helps definitely a little bit. I'll put some soapy water around the perimeter of the rim. Give us some help. It's going to be a battle, I know, this old terrible rubber. Well, it actually came off really easy. It was hardly a fight at all. This is something for the Nitto tires, huh? Okay, let's pull a tube out of here. And I bet the rim strap's broken too. Just a guess, but probably an educated one. Well, that's a pretty new looking tube. I might have even put that in when I got it, but I was right about the brake. It's right there. You know, I've actually fixed them like that, but they don't last. Shit. Yeah, that's a bad place for it to go. That's what I got for patches, you know. This one, maybe drill a hole in the middle and put it over. It's just going to be a real mess. Of course it's going to be a real mess, but that's the one to use as long as this... Hey, the rubber cement's not even hard. What do you know? Okay, that's what we're going to do then. Yeah, that'll hold tight on the stem. I wonder if it's too tight. You know, if it needs a little bit of play. So how are you going to hold this down to... I think the rubber cement stayed good because I keep it in that baggie, you know, snack bag. We have a liberal amount on there. And give it a little bit of time. Kind of set. And we widen that hole out a little bit. And we'll take off the backing and hopefully it'll stick. Well, it looks like it's going to hold for now, so we will reinstall it. Yeah, went back on just as well. Hopefully we didn't pinch it, and hopefully that'll hold, so I'll put some air in it, and I'll put some air in it and let you watch me put air in it, because it's so exciting. Watch. You take the air thing and you put it on that thing. Let's see what we got for pressure, and we'll let it sit for a little while and see if it maintains pressure. Yeah, according to this gauge, which I'm not quite sure I trust, it has 15 pounds in it, so we'll check it later on. Work on cleaning it up. We're getting some of that gunk off. Oil and a toothbrush. The hub's getting clean slowly. It's a lot of work. That's like old oil that was thrown up from the chain. So we'll clean the hub. I brought in a little gas. I'm huffing it right now, but look at it. It takes this paint right the hell off. And somebody like tried to make it trick, you know, by drilling those ugly ass holes in it. Yeah, it did a lot of good. The hub came out pretty clean. Looks pretty good too. That thing, that drives me nuts. It's the brake stay. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's something sticking out of it like an old cotter pin. It's like broken off in there. I think I've tried to take it off before and just said the hell with it. Now I want to get it off. Yeah, I got it off. You can kind of see, I think right there, where the cotter pin was. It just sheared off when I got the 2 wrenches on it. It wasn't a big deal at all. But there was just too much slack in it, making a racket, so might need another washer or something. But we'll just put it back on. This holds this right there. Yeah, we got it tight. We got it pointing out. I think it might want to point in, but I mean, you'd have access to a cotter pin if I ever put one in, or whatever. It's not in the way of anything. Brake rod. Let's check that. Nope. That's good. Doesn't rattle. I bought 6 really nice levers at the swap meet, Racerama, and this is the only thing I'm going to use on this bike. I'm sort of kicking myself. There was an exhaust pipe that I was looking at, and I thought it was a CT90 like this one, but I actually think it was the right pipe for this bike, for the CL90. I'm kicking myself I didn't buy it. There's a bunch of other things I'm kicking myself I didn't buy either. That's the way it goes. Nope, the ball end is much bigger than this. I'm wondering if I can drill that out. But then again, it doesn't even fit in there. Jeez, thought I had a good pair. Yeah, you can shave it down. I took off the clutch side. Nothing's going to work but this one, the one that was on there. So I took a gamble and I struck out. I don't like that the hole is so much bigger. It's like it's missing the brass bushing inside. And this side, yeah, I think we can make one do. Not sure yet. Yeah, we cleaned up the old clutch lever a little bit. Wire brush. Smoothed out this end. Well, the gas tank works now. It seems to take a while to warm up to run correctly. You can hear it missing a little bit. It always feels a little funny too, so things aren't quite worked out. The back tire looks like it's holding. The brake stay is not making noise anymore, which is good. Front brake lever. This is the new one. Yeah, it looks good. The old clutch lever, cleaned up, and it works good too. Yeah, I think we'll change the oil on it. Yeah, there are some differences between this tail light, which I just took off. Mainly that hole right there. This one does not have for the wires to come through. So, yeah. I don't even know if this is Honda, maybe it was Yamaha. Oh, it's a Suzuki right on it. But maybe I can use that lens, the whole apparatus on that one. I don't know. I was hoping these two would line up with those two, but they don't. So I think I'm going to modify this one to work, at least for now. They look pretty similar. Just got to drill a hole like that. There. Well, we're getting there. That's the hole we got. It's going to be a little more than that. It's about a 1/16 of an inch. These holes from the fender. So I'm going to keep working on it. I think tomorrow. So here's the reflector part of the tail light. And I got this socket down at the auto parts store. And sure, it fits right through the hole. But it's got to stay in the hole. So I was thinking ideally a nice grommet would work perfectly on it. But I know I have some grommets, I cannot find them to save my life. So I was thinking of just using some E6000 and making a gasket type thing. And that's good, it's not permanent, you know. If you ever get a better socket, you just swap it out from there. This is a 2-conductor, so I guess the third conductor is the ground. So hopefully that'll work. Let's try a little Marvel Mystery Oil on this rust. See how this thing cleans up. You get some of it off. Now how to place this in here. Okay, I took the E6000 and made a ring of goop. Hopefully that'll settle out and get kind of level. Not totally flatten out, but be enough so that it fills in the void there. And then I'll stick this down inside of it and apply another layer. Unfortunately, this stuff takes 24 hours to cure, so I guess I gotta wait. I hate these ones where you gotta wait. Next day, and that's kind of how it hardened. Let's see if the wax paper will. Yeah. Ooh. I ripped it there. Yeah, it's a good orifice to hold it. And I'll put a bead of the E6000 around it here. A little off center, but what difference does it make? Yeah, we'll let that sit for another 24 hours. Alright, we got a 6-volt bulb. I had one of these, equivalent of a 1157 6 volts. I don't know what the number is. You put a ground on here, and let's see what it looks like. So I got both. Stop light and running light. Son, oh a bitch. This should have been loaded into this side, not the other way around, because the lens fits inside of this. Oh shit. Well, that's an easy fix, but we gotta wait another 24 hours for the adhesive to cure. Yeah, in my defense, I would say this side is certainly more shiny than this side, and this side has the information, so that's, I think, why I did it wrong. Regardless, I'll tell you, this E6000 stuff, I cut it out with an X-Acto knife. It gave me quite a fight to get this thing out of here, so I mean, a couple of dabs will hold this thing in, actually. But really good stuff, that E6000. Yeah, alright, we'll wait another 24 hours. Alright, next day. It looks good. It's in there nice and firm. Might run that little ground wire that I had to take off yesterday and bring it up to here. Yeah, bulb goes in. We got the wires tinned at the end. It's a running light.
That's a brake light. So it works.
So I don't know if I mentioned, but the screws weren't really holding in the manifold. They tighten them up and they get loose. I put wires. I'll show you the wires. Wires down the holes, try to take up the slack, and yeah, it worked a little bit, but not, you know, the vibration and everything. So what I did, this was recommended on the S90 list by Scott Kim, who always has some great ideas. This is a 1/4 28 tap. It's not metric, but this will actually thread in pretty darn good into these threads, and just widen them out like a little bit so if something has a bite on it. And I got 1/4 28 screws, and I just, what did I do with them? Hang on. Here they are. Just put them in my lap. I made these, cut off one of those, and put a slot in the top, and we're going to put some Loctite on the threads. Let the Loctite dry, and then put a little more on and drive these in. So these will be studs, and you can take off the nuts instead of unscrewing all the time, which I think will help. Seems to have worked. You know, I didn't video doing it because I was really uncertain. Put some tape over the hole for the car for the intake, and the threads look pretty good. Other guys on that list recommended a helicoil, which is probably the best way to go, but I don't have any experience with them. It wasn't really clear what I was supposed to buy. I don't know what you drill it out to. I don't know what the insert size is, and I sort of asked for that and I didn't really get an answer. Just that I thought helicoil kits were like $300 or $400, which I guess they used to be, but now they're like, you can buy one for $12, it'll work. I just have never done it, so, and it can still be done. I mean, I've done no damage here. The threads were already damaged. So I think this is a quick fix for now. I also have another head. I got this one. It was so dirty that I didn't even want to try using it, but we got it soaking in the gas. Looks like gas and water, doesn't it? Yeah, you keep your old gas and the water still collects in that too. You gotta change that. Look at the gunk that is on this thing. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of work on the other stuff because I'm painting the back of the house. Got only a little bit left, and then the trim. That right-hand corner there isn't done yet. Got the studs in. For some reason, this one only threaded in that far, despite the tap going all the way in. I don't know why, but there's plenty of meat in there. It's in there about 3/4 of an inch. So that's good. I figured while I was at it, I'd give the carb a quick clean. Just take it back on, a little crusty. Yeah, I'll tell you what, they tightened up nice. I think it'll work just fine. Alright, can you see that? If you ever see a petcock like this on eBay for like $8 shipped, don't buy it. This is the second one I've gotten from the guy. The first one, you could not move the lever at all. The tube was sheared off. The plastic one was out of there, but the plastic one could get pushed back in there. You try to move the handle, it was so stiff it bent this. So I told him that he sent me another one. This one seemed to sort of work, although the tube was missing once again, broken off. I said, oh, the heck with it, I'll try it. Put it in, there's no shutting it off. That's on, that's on, that's on. Yeah, it runs better now, for sure. I think that fix is going to do it, although the bowl seems to be overflowing a little bit, so thought I'd clean that. I guess I got to clean it again. Alright, I put the original petcock back on. I actually used the rubbers, and those other crappy ones. this rubber here and the rubber that sits inside of here. And now this one doesn't seem to be leaking, so at least I got something out of those crappy things. At least it's not leaking so far. Nope. Bike seems to be running good. Pretty happy. It smokes sometimes, which is kind of weird. It wasn't smoking right now. It's just bizarre. I've been putting it off, thinking like maybe there's an oil in this pipe. I don't know what bike this came off of, because I think I bought it at Swap Meet. So I was thinking maybe it's got oil in it and that's what's burning off. But I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to putting new rings on this thing either. So one of the next things I got to tackle, the next couple of things, the fork seals leak like a swamp, at least the left side does. And also the electronics. It doesn't seem to be charging, but that battery always seems to have a charge in it, which is kind of weird. You start it up, you put on the headlight, and it doesn't get brighter when you rev it up. The same when you have the voltmeter on the leads. Another thing is I put that tail light on that Suzuki tail light. How's that look? Yeah, almost like it belongs. And I got to hitch that up. I think those wires are probably just dangling inside of here, but because of the CT90 pipe, I can't access the electrics. I have to take the damn pipe off to get in there. So when I do that, I don't know. Got to go fishing, or maybe pull a whole harness out and look at it and see what's going on with it. Yeah, it wouldn't be fun if there wasn't something to work on.